All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have the Area 51 Dark Horse Series here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And I say one of my questions already answered. I was a little bit curious and honestly a little worried. I was like, where's our points leader Bruno Miranda? But he just popped in here in the chat, wishing everybody good luck and that he will be back next race. So I say, Bruno, you're probably just doing your competition a favor, keeping the points closer for him. But hope you're doing well, and definitely look forward to seeing you back out on track here soon. But for tonight, we have a 125 lap race here tonight at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. As always, with this Area 51 Dark Horse Series, it will be 0 green white checkered attempts, 1 faster pair available for the drivers. And then so say fuel window I was hearing is in the 40ish, low 40s range, so might be right on the edge of a 2-stopper if you can save just a little bit of fuel. I think 42 laps will be the magic number to get to that 2-stop window, so I'll have to wait and see how the strategy goes. But before we get to all of that, let's go ahead and pull up our points, because again, we're getting towards the later half of the season. And as I mentioned, Bruno Miranda, our points leader. And also to mention, they do have this now 2 drop weeks available with some of the issues we had during one of the build weeks. Let's say a few drivers were unable to make the races. And so basically the fairest way we could do it was to add a drop week for some drivers. And so right now, though, Bruno Miranda with a 45-point lead over Nick DeGroot, 47 over Chris Stouffer. So a really good battle there for second and third, and also a really good battle from fourth there as well. You got Eric Schaus, Craig Forsyth, Alan Morera, Yari Brupacher, all within about 14 points of one another. So a really good battle there from fourth all the way back to seventh on that one. So it'll be fun to see how that all goes. But like I said, right now, these drivers putting down their qualifying laps for tonight's event. And then the other thing to mention is it's the same as all the other races. What we will be doing is with, again, the generous donations from 4D Racewear, we'll be doing a raffle for drivers that have run 10 of the 12 races. Will be eligible for a pair of gloves courtesy of 4D Racewear. So again, really want to thank Jim Herrick and everybody involved there for making that happen. And it'll be really fun. I say last season, the season champion got racing boots. I say going for gloves this season. So yeah, big thank you to Jim. And I say we'll show it on the broadcast, but also let you know, of course, if you maybe don't win the raffle at the end of the season, there is still a 15% off code you can use for the 4D Racewear, and that is Area 5115 to get 15% off your order. Still got just about a minute and a half remaining. Got a good number of cars that have put a lap down here. We'll pull up our timing and scoring here up on the ticker there, so you can kind of see where drivers are roughly at. And at the moment, you see Matt Wagner sitting on pole here by 7 thousandths of a second. Nick DeGroot there 9 thousandths of a second off there in third. So top 3 separated by less than 100th of a second. It shows how close those guys all were. Right now, looks like 14 drivers have made a lap. 15th on back have yet to, but there are still a few more laps being put in here. And also a really good field here, just about low 20s. It looks like maybe about 22, 23 drivers. So also really excited to have a great car count here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun here tonight. Track temp right now is showing 92 degrees, so not quite as hot as it was 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas. But we'll see, especially the bumps in 1 and 2, I think is going to be an interesting place to watch, because it's going to be hard to hold the car down to the bottom there through the bumps. And then also will be fun to see, like in the dirty air, I think it's going to wash up as well. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of things to keep an eye on. And well, it's going to be fun learning, Karen, on this one. I'd say these Indy cars, yeah, very, very different animal, but the racing it's going to feel like some super speedway racing here tonight at Las Vegas, the way these Indy cars work. Very close drafting. Hopefully you won't see any bump drafting. I can't promise that they won't try. But definitely love to have you here again tonight. I know Seth racing this evening. And I love to see it. Love to see the extra, just wanting to participate. And Seth's definitely one of those that is been very dedicated to the Area 51 League altogether. So definitely appreciate all of his time and effort and dedication. So with that, qualifying has just completed. Let's go ahead and pull up our starting grid for tonight's event. And sure enough, their hold station here is Matt Wagner on pole position by 7 thousandths over Eric Peterson. And then you've got Nick DeGroot there in third, Eric Schaus fourth, Yari Brupacher are top five. Then you go Charles Teed, Jim Herrick, Alan Moreira, Edson Santos, and Christopher are top 10. And again, I mean, look at the top 10 all within 0.04 of a second. 11th up back, you got Seth Groover, as we mentioned, Sheridan Wade there in 12th. Continuing down the order, then you have Craig Forsyth, Dan Moreira, Michael Carrillo, Gary Laverne, Nate Fields, Raphael Eckert, Jim Brooks, William Swenson, Brad Adams, and Bill Colley will be our 22 starters here tonight. So now just everybody's starting to get all gridded up here. You can see Nick DeGroot has hopped in. There's Yari Brupacher just popping up there behind him as well. So again, hope you all are having a wonderful evening. And yeah, say we're almost halfway through the week as they get to Wednesday next week, and should be a lot of fun though here tonight. And of course, in 2 nights time, Thursday night, we will kick off the Xfinity Series playoffs over at Atlanta Motor Speedway on the for the Xfinity side of things. So definitely keep an eye out on that one. I'm sure Mama, you'll be over there supporting your boys there as well, as I believe they've been running both of them and doing a really good job at that, of course, as well. All right, waiting for a few more cars to hop in. Matt Wagner just popping in grid. I haven't seen Edson Santos jump in yet. Hopefully we'll see that car. There he is. Pops in right at the last moment before these drivers are going to start to roll off for the pace lap. You can see the Mustang pace car is going to be our going to roll this field off here in just a moment. As you'll see them up there, they go starting to roll as of now. So again, 125 laps here, fuel window in the low 40s. So again, I believe drivers can make it on a 2-stop strategy pending it going green. Of course, caution coming out will change a lot of strategies here tonight. And also, of course, these Indy cars, very, very difficult to get on off of pit road here. A lot of adjustments needing to be made. So it'll be fun to see how they adjust and how they kind of react and make those changes. And of course, also just clean air versus dirty air. What adjustments do you need to make to get this car as good as you can through? So going to be a lot of fun to see how this one unfolds. But up front, though, it's going to be Matt Wagner, Eric Peterson up front. And again, we'll have to keep an eye out the championship battle. Right now, Nick DeGroot, one of the highest qualifiers there in third for the top 3 in the points. A little further back is Christopher in ninth, but well, again, there's still going to be a lot of racing. And you're going to see a lot of comers and goers, especially just basing on kind of we'll see again tire wear and where these drivers are going to run. I expect to see a Jim Brooks, for instance. Obviously a little biased since he's my dad, but I expect him to be rim riding. He likes to run the top side if it's available, so we'll have to keep an eye out for him as well, see what lanes he runs. And of course, just everybody's going to be running where there's a little bit of clean air, so that's going to be the key here tonight. So pace car's about to make that sharp left head off the racing surface. It's going to hand it over to that number 6 of Matt Wagner on the inside, Eric Peterson to his outside. And we are going to get going here. We are down and away. 125 laps here underway here at Las Vegas. And actually a really good start for Eric Peterson, able to kind of just get a nose ahead of Matt Wagner, but not quite enough to clear. So Matt's going to have to take the shorter distance around. And now again, this is where these drivers have to be very careful. Cold tires, full of fuel. They got to build some temperature up right now here. Turn 3, this is where that car is going to get very tight here, especially in the dirty area. You'll see some drivers probably wash up a little bit. Saw one getting really high there towards the exit. But so far, looks like so good. Everybody's going to get through clean. Matt Wagner, though, will lead lap number 1 here. And so, again, I mean, just look at these cars, how just everybody's sorting everywhere, trying to figure out where to position themselves. Right now, it still stays Matt Wagner holding that inside line pretty strong. The 36 Eric Peterson trying to work the outside lane. Looks like Nick DeGroot pretty content right now to just roll the bottom here, run that white line here. Again, that's going to be the bumpier part of the track, but looks like it's going pretty well. But right now, Matt Wagner, he's got the best view out the back. No pressure at the moment behind. I mean, look at these guys. It looks like they're 3+ wide there behind down the straightaways. Then they try to get themselves organized through the turns. But again, though, they have to really make some adjustments here to figure out how to get through that dirty air. And of course, with these cars, very sensitive to changes in the banking. So there's going to be times where you see these guys, they might accidentally straddle the white line on the tri-oval. That is going to make these cars extremely loose. And we probably will see a car or two, unfortunately, catch that white line and go for a bit of a spin. So hopefully it doesn't happen. But again, kind of it's just, I feel like it's going to be harder to avoid just the way these cars are. But right now, though, everybody's done a pretty good job early on. Right now, Craig Forsyth appears to be our highest climber. He's jumped 5 spots up into the top 10 now, looking at just around 6, maybe even 7 here. Looks like that high side working very well so far for these guys trying to work their way forward. One of his teammates there, Jim Herrick, in the 40 racewear machine, rolling up now into second. Also see Yari Brupacher. He's running that very, very top 3rd lane there in the 49. And again, let's say these guys are going to have to go where others are not. So that's why we see Yari kind of doing that rim riding. I've seen a few drivers peek out there a little bit here and there. But right now, Yari definitely one that's rolling the top the most. But so far, it looks like Matt's able to kind of control the pace. And is it by choice? Is it by him able to kind of just run that bottom lane? I'm not sure. But he's looking very, very comfortable in that number 6 here early on. These guys looking like they're running about 220-mile-an-hour pace laps down the backstretch, running 2x2. Yari's gained a little bit more track position here. He's now up into that 3rd place, going for 2nd. But also look at this 54 car. Again, I think a new addition to the series, a name I haven't recognized yet. It looks like it's going to be a name we need to pay attention to, and that is Sheridan Wade. Now up 8 positions up into 4th. Talk about Craig being the highest climber. Sheridan's right up there now as well. Working that middle lane here at the moment. Now kind of trying to drift to the bottom. Again, that's going to give Nick DeGroot a lot of dirty air there. But so far these cars, maybe on the fresher tires, holding their lanes pretty well here. So I think those tires are holding up early here. But again, though, these guys got to go at least 30 more laps before they would have to pit for fuel. So there's a lot of time for those tires to start to wear. I gotta keep mom happy. Peek in on Seth Groover there. He is in that orange and black machine on the outside lane. He's up 4 spots currently in the 7th spot. He's got the 72 Eric Schaus right behind him in front, I believe. Trying to catch. Oh, that's Edson Santos in the 20. Unfortunately, Edson missed 2 weeks ago. Missed the race just because of the time zone changes. So he got here just a little bit too late. So definitely hated to see Edson miss it, but he's definitely back here strong, and obviously his teammate did a great job 2 weeks ago. The last race, getting the win, and we just saw a little quick blink there for Eric Peterson. Looks like he's settled back in, but always got to be careful for some connection issues. But here comes Sheridan Wade, though. Look at this, running for the top side here, trying to see if they can get to the outside of Matt Wagner. Going to try to get to the point. Right now, just can't quite get alongside here, but this is the first driver to try to really keep Matt honest here in that number 6. And again, look how well holding the bottom. Now he's actually going to jump to the inside here. And this, I think, could be the first lead change. And again, really good work here by Sheridan. Now 11 positions gained to take the lead here, and will lead here coming to lap number 13. Bringing Seth Groover along now as well. Seth's now worked his way up into that top 6, working actually top 5 now. Looking under Yari Brupacher, possibly under Matt Wagner there as well. Looking to, it looks like actually going to grab the top 3 here. So maybe some of that super speedway racing prowess is working well for Seth. And yeah, no, definitely glad. So if you see a bright orange and black car, that's Seth. And I think not too many orange and black cars, so it should be pretty good to be able to spot him over the course of the race. But yeah, right now doing a great job, and now we're even trying to work to get to that top 2, and is going to get some really good draft here off of Sheridan. Is showing second at the moment, but man, yeah, really good run here for Seth as well. Again, for getting kind of new to this and going after it. Matt Wagner, after leading all those laps, not sure if either he's backing it down to take it easy or maybe looking at fuel mileage, but he has dropped all the way outside the top 10, now sitting in 11th. He has got, I think that is Gary Laverne right behind him, then Jim Brooks behind Gary. So he's definitely dropped a fair bit back. Not sure, again, maybe fuel saving, maybe burn those tires up a little bit, trying to kind of control this race early on. Again, I do still think there will be some comers and goers who can manage their tires the best over the course of this run. I think will be very important. I mean, Auto Club was definitely one where you could see how important tire wear was, and so I'll be curious to see who's able to manage it the best. But right now, though, like I said, though, Matt's he's trying to recover a little bit, but like I said, drop back just outside the top 10 now, back up into 8th. Again, still a long ways to go. I mean, we've got the whole field here. They're all still bunched up together. We've got a couple guys, I think, just playing it safe right here. William Swenson, Brad Adams, Bill Colley. I don't think they want to be kind of ducking and diving like some of these guys up front are early, but I'll say here's one for Mom, though. Seth Gruber will lead this lap here at Las Vegas, starting lap number 18. So putting that 02 now to the front there, getting a lap led here early. Yeah, I see again a little connection hiccup there for the little tight there in entry, but able to hold on to it. But yeah, watching Eric Peterson again, a little bit of a hiccup there on the connection side that always makes drivers a little nervous behind. But it looks like it's usually just quick little ones, and so it's when it gets really bad that admins might chime in and say, "Hey, okay, let's go ahead and make some adjustments." But let's go right here once again here. Let's look off the back of Seth. There goes Sheridan working the top side here, going into 3, and again a little tight on the entry there, and you could see just how uncomfortable that car got there. And oh, there's Craig Forsyth going down into the grass. We talked about that. I think he is going to hang onto it. Oh, just a little kiss to the outside wall. But it looks like the only car involved, and I think we'll be able to get away without a fast prep. That does bring our first yellow out. Let's go back, see what exactly happened to Craig, as he was right around the top 10. Not sure if potentially some contact or not, so we're focused right there already on this number 31 car on the inside. You see he got the 32 to his outside, and then so far everything looks okay. A little bit of contact, maybe a little bit of net code possibly as well there with, I think it was Raphael Eckert that had just a tiny bit of contact. And again, I'm not sure if it's actually contact or net code, but sending Craig around there for a little spin. And you can see everybody else able to just sneak by him here as he starts to drift up the track. And that's right there's the last car through. And then, like I said, for Craig here, you get a good little view here, but here, just a light tap there. I think he can get away with that one and is able to loop it around, grab a gear, and get going again. Caught back up to the field already. I think that's going to bring the field in here for our first schedule. I should say our first set of pit stops. And I do not think anybody's going to stay out. I think everybody's going to want 4 tires and fuel. So we'll keep an eye. And yeah, it looks like the whole field's going to come in. So we'll take a quick break. We'll show off our wonderful sponsors like 4D Racewear. Again, basically those that run 10 of the 12 races will be entered into the raffle after the finale to see who wins a pair of gloves, courtesy of 4D Racewear. So stay tuned. And also, again, thank you to them for supporting us here.
4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, as you can see, lights are off of the pace car. Matt Wagner drove through pit road and now is going to come in for service for that 6th car. So that's going to drop him back right around the 20th or so position. I think probably some strategy. And I'm also, I believe, seeing a retired Eric Schaus in the 72. And 2 weeks ago, and I think it might be the same thing here tonight again, I think possibly dad duty having to take over there. So He's trying to get some racing in, but I say they have a very young newborn daughter, he and his wife. So I say he tries to get in when he can, tries to do some racing, but obviously if he's got to play dad, he's got to play dad. So always love Eric's kind of, again, he does everything he can, but definitely also want to give him and his wife a shout out because, like I said, very, very happy new parents. And yeah, so unfortunately not able to finish up tonight, and unfortunately also was doing really well in the points, but say obviously this will be a little bit of a setback. But I think he'll take one there for being able to take care of their daughter. So strategy wise though, very interesting here. Nick DeGroot, fuel only 5.3 second pit stop. Sheridan Wade, everybody else 7 to 8 second stops. That's a 4 tire stop for those drivers. So that said, though, Nick DeGroot has control. We'll hop on board with that factory-backed machine. As he is down and away, you always look towards the back, watch for those stack-ups, and so far, it looks like a little hiccup a little further back, but I think everybody's going to get through okay. I don't see any flying wings or anything like that, so I think that's job one here done on this restart. Again, Craig Forsyth, unfortunately, shotgun on the field here in 21st, but also a lengthy pit stop, so I think there was some damage repairs to be done to the 99, but hopefully it'll be okay. But right now we've got a pretty solid top 2 breakaway. And again, this is old tires versus new, so I'm going to be interested to see, do tires make a difference here after about 20 laps of green flag running. Will be a really interesting scene. Actually, Eric Shaw's rolling back out on track, so maybe something else going on there for him. But he's back on track, so hopefully able to get some luck. And I think right now we'll be showing, I believe, 2 laps down at the moment in that number 72 car. But again, right now the only car lap down, so actually showing 3 down, I apologize. But again, a lot of racing to go, so, and the only car a lap or more down, so would be eligible for that wave around free pass. But right now we've got a pretty good fight here for the lead again. And I think right now you see Nick DeGroot, I think he's showing his plan here. He's going to try to keep that cleaner and just live on that bottom lane, make him pass him on the outside. We've seen a few drivers try to hold the bottom, but haven't had the luck to do so. So we'll see if maybe he can make some adjustments to keep that thing a little happier. But right now, though, and actually looks like Eric back to pit road, so maybe back to dad duties. So maybe I'll try to pull him up and see if he's around. If we can pull him in and have some chatting. See how the dad life's going. And but yeah, I know his wife used to like to watch and be able to join on the broadcast, but she's gotten really busy with work too. So right now though, still so far Nick DeGroot able to hang on to that inside lane. And again, we're kind of back to those 200 plus mile an hour pace laps at the moment. So right now it's Nick still holding that bottom, but Seth thought about going to that middle lane. I think he's rolling out of it just a tiny bit. And now you look at Eric Peterson. Eric's going to try to creep into the mix here as well in that 36 machine. Again, Eric qualified second, currently now back up into second. I don't think he has led a lap yet. But again, with the little network hiccups though, but still doing a great job here early. And it looks like Eric rolling back out onto track, but so based on that, won't bother him. Let him keep racing here as they continue on. A little bit of close contact there. You saw for just a moment there, Seth Greer, Sheridan Wade looked like maybe a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, and oh man, Seth is in a tight spot right now. Now able to get, looks like back to 2 wide, but for a moment was middle 3, and that's always a nervous place to be in these things. But someone we haven't chatted about yet and is working their way forward right behind one of their teammates, that is Chris Stouffer. Chris, one of those ones that's in that lead, that championship battle, was just a little bit behind Bruno on the points. I think it was also Craig. No, it wasn't Craig. Oh, sorry, Nick DeGroot was the other one. So he needs to try to hold Nick here and try to keep Nick honest. Again, also wants to get that bonus point, but doing really well here following his 4D race for a teammate there, Jim Herrick. Jim now up into that 3rd position, also +6 for him. So good opening stints for these guys here early. Go back here and take a peek, see where that Craig Forsyth machine is. He's gained a few spots. He's still holding kind of the back of the field. I don't think he's pushing the issue too much as of yet. But right now it's hard to kind of stay away from the front because these guys have been going at it pretty aggressively early on. And so little hiccup there for Nick DeGroot also. So we have some server hiccups or something. As we've seen now 2 cars, Nick DeGroot and Eric Peterson have both a little network hiccup there. But yeah, I mean, I'm starting to see some drivers kind of slip off the bottom just a little bit. Wondering again, talk about the tire wear pitted at lap number 21. So they're only about 12 laps in, but yeah, I wonder the track might be warming up a little bit too. It's right now showing 90 degrees track temperature. And it might just be everybody starting to ramp up the aggression a little bit too. But so far, though, still a good fight. I was watching that 40 drift just a tiny bit, got nervous there. But so far, so good. And right there in the middle of that purple 4D racewear car, Michael Carrillo in the 29. Right now sitting just outside the top 10 in 13th. To his inside is Charles Teed there. So you can see kind of a sister scheme, if you will, to Eric Peterson. Those two usually working together, racing together when they get the opportunity. As I say that, contact. Oh my goodness, big hit there for Charles Teed, and he's left the building, and yeah, he is towing. And just by chance caught the two of them. Looks like Michael is rolling, and I think that's Brad Adams also involved. And if that's not a commentator's curse, I don't know what is, because I literally just talked about those two. But that was a big hit there. Again, this is where you're very grateful that this is a virtual thing. But not sure what happened here. We'll go back and take another look here. We'll focus on Michael Carrillo. We're gonna watch this here through entering turn number one. And it almost looks like just the way Charles Teed's car, he enters the turn, and it's almost like the wheel just like a hardware failure, because you'll see right here, and all of a sudden that car just stops turning. And then unfortunately, I mean, there's nothing that Michael can do. He's just along for the ride. Same thing for Brad Adams, just nowhere to go. Look at that 69 there, just sneaking by there, and then everybody else doing a great job. I mean, yeah, Charles went flying here. And then these two, unfortunately, kind of just got hooked on together. So, yeah, unfortunate there. I kind of got a feel that seemed like maybe a bit of a hardware issue on that one. Unfortunately, that's a tough break for all of these guys. That said, though, caution is out. Drivers are on pit road. Eric Schaus is still making laps. He is rolling around as we speak. And so he is going to try to get one of those laps back. And again, he had to make another pit stop there. So I think he's down multiple laps, which we'll wait and see. Yeah, so he was 6 down, now he's back to 5 down, but still a long ways to go. And looks like this time no strategy. It's 4 tires and fuel for all these drivers. A little lengthier stop here for Matt Wagner. He's sitting at about 16 seconds, and I'm looking at that front wing. No, front wing looks okay. But yeah, as I'm wondering, that's a lengthy stop for Matt, about 24 seconds. Not sure if maybe some damage somewhere that he was trying to get repaired, but we'll keep an eye on that. Craig Forsyth, though, he is back up into now the 14th spot. So once again, though, we'll step away for just a moment, and we will come back here on the one to go. I can tell you Michael Carrillo is back out on track, I think, showing also a few laps down. But we'll, as he sees in front of the leader, so should get a wave around here. And actually, this will get him back on the tail end lead lap. So great opportunity for him. And let me make sure we're not going to get the one to go here, because if we do, we'll stay live. If lights stay on, we'll go ahead and step away. But let's wait and see. As they cross the line here, this is going to start lap number 38. So just getting close to approaching that quarter distance, and lights still on. So we'll step away. We'll be right back here again from a shout out from our sponsor here, 4D Racewear.
4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, lights are about to go off of the pace car, and I came back because this is getting interesting here. Mixed strategies here. Nick DeGroot, Eric Peterson, Yari Brupacher, Raphael Eckert, Bill Colley, Matt Wagner. They're all coming back in here to top off with fuel. They think that if we go green, we're going to need this extra little bit of fuel. However, Sheridan Wade, Seth Gruber, pretty much from our leader down to William Swenson, they all stay out here. So this will be interesting to see. Again, it all depends on how this run plays out. If we stay green to the end, if we get a timely caution or untimely caution, this definitely puts some pit strategy into things. And I'm curious here. We'll get things going, but I am gonna probably drag Eric Schuss because he's back on pit road again, and I feel like he's just kind of bouncing back and forth. I don't know if it's dad or what's going on, or maybe trying to get some settings squared away, but. I'll say back on pit road here again, that 72. So maybe we'll grab him, see if he wants to chat a little bit in a little while. However, back up front, though, it's going to be Sheridan Wade, now our race leader. Seth Gruver, Jim Herrick, Edson Santos, and Chris Stouffer are top 5. And again, leader has control of the restart, single file restart. And again, you're going to start to see that accordion here as they get back to the restart zone. And we'll pull it up on our starter cam, get a great look here. As they get the zone, it's in control of the leader. It can go as early or late as they want. And now we are down NOA. See a little bit of a check up here. Everybody's trying to get themselves situated. And there's a couple close calls there. But it looks like everybody's pointing in the right direction. We'll see. Hopefully no penalties. But up front, though, it's going to be Sheridan Wade leading the way back here once more, starting lap number 40 of 125. So just about hitting the 1/3 distance here in this one. Christopher wasting no time, jumping to the outside. Seth Gruber saw it, said, I got to get up here too. And so Seth's going to now try to lead that outside line. But right now, with the fresh tires and everything, I think that right now Sheridan Wade probably in a good spot here on the inside line. So we'll keep an eye. But right now, they're starting to get pretty tight once more. And it's starting to become a little bit of a 40 raceware party right now. You got the 40, the 13, and the 26. Dan Marrera, he's joining the mix now as well there. He's in that silver car behind Jim Herrick. And yeah, everybody's starting to bunch themselves right back up together. And that's how these restarts go in the Indy cars. The leaders will get a bit of a breakaway, but big move there to the top there. That's, I believe, Chris Stouffer got a big run here. And this is where we saw earlier Seth was 3 wide and things got a little dicey, but they get back to 2 wide racing. But yeah, say everybody kind of runs away for a little bit, and then the draft brings everybody right back into the mix. And usually about 1.5 seconds is kind of the magic number where you start to sniff that draft. And so, yeah, so that's where things are at the moment. And I can tell you Charles Teed is back out on track, as is Brad Adams. There's Brad Adams. Unfortunately, both those drivers had to take a tow, so I believe they're both sitting 2 laps down as they run. So right now, that will be the lucky dog battles between those 2 drivers. And right now, it is in the hands of Charles Teed. But right now, let's say we've gotten back to that 2x2 racing. And with as tight packed as these drivers are, I mean, again, we talked about the drivers that topped off right now. Eric Peterson's the furthest up of those that did top off on that one to go. And when you're in a pack like this, we'll hop on the roll bar here. Unfortunately, we don't get to see all the settings that they're actually using, but there are fuel maps, and this will be a good one for you, Karen, is there's a lot of adjustability in these Indy cars. So even though it's a fixed setup league, you can change your fuel maps. You can adjust your weight jacker, which kind of makes the car lighter or tighter or looser all in general. And then there's also a front and rear ARB, which is an adjustable roll bar that you can also adjust to kind of change the balance of these cars. And so that is definitely something that a lot of these drivers might be playing with. Oh my goodness, that's so close there between Jim Herrick and Seth Gruver. But yeah, so there's a lot of adjustability in these cars that you can make based on traffic, based on pit road entry, pit road exit. Or again, if you're in a big pack like this and you want to save fuel, you can adjust your fuel map. And so map 1 is full rich, map 5 is full lean, 6 and 7 are more road course maps. So instead of it being like a linear flat curve, it's a bit more of like almost like an S shape. So just makes the power a little more gradual while still giving full output. Then there's also a map 8, which is the caution map, which you're not able to hold full speed. And so sometimes you'll see drivers forget to switch from a map 8 to a map 1. and they get a really, really slow restart, and that's because they forgot to adjust that dial. So a lot of adjustments you can make in these cars. I've definitely been one guilty of forgetting to take it off of map 8. But yeah, right now these guys, again, a lot of activity going on, and like I said, right now you kind of got a 40 Raceware party lined up here behind Sheridan Wade, and like I said, Craig Forsyth starting to creep back into the mix here, just outside, actually just inside, I should say, now the top 10. But now at the moment, highest climber is this green. I think these two have been pretty much lockstep with each other here. That's Gary Laverne, Jim Brooks. They have pretty much been running the outside line, and slowly but surely they've been moving forward lap by lap and run by run. And so now both these drivers sitting just inside the top 10, but seems like both those green cars have been pretty much committed to that second and third lane. So it'll be fun to see how their race continues to progress here. But again, talk about the fuel mileage situation. Very good possibility that some of these drivers, and I think honestly a lot of these drivers, I think are in fuel save mode. Again, we pitted at lap 36. Some top at 38. I talked about lap 42 being that magic number to pit to split the race in thirds. And now I think these guys are thinking, you know what? We could save, go a little further than 42 laps. We can make this race to the end on one more stop pending any cautions. So we'll have to wait and see how all that goes. But again, so far we haven't had a green flag pit stop. So we'll see if that changes as this race progresses. So far track temperature is still holding steady at 90 degrees. However, I do need to mention, though, there is some significant wind here. It's right now 17 miles an hour from the northwest. And so basically what that's doing is that's giving, in certain parts of the track, it'll give these drivers a really big headwind or just a really big push to the side. And I think the way it's pointing, it's going to give these drivers pretty much a tailwind going into turn 1. And then I think it's going to make these drivers really struggle coming out of turn number 4, if I'm not mistaken, as these cars are, again, very aero and wind sensitive. So that's a lot of wind, 18 miles an hour for these cars. And I think that might also be why we're seeing a lot of movement from them, is that wind is probably just buffeting these guys around a fair bit as well. I mean, as long as it's got a sport mode, that's all that matters. I think the question is, though, if you let your boys actually drive your car, so you got to hide that sport mode so they don't push that button all the time while they're driving. So because they'll try to make that thing be a race car too. But yeah, no, these cars are definitely very, very technologically advanced. A lot of buttons and knobs, and honestly, there's times when I get to race these, it's a little overwhelming for me too. Where it's like, wait, what do I want to change this to? What do I do now? And that's what makes some of these really good drivers just that much better. Kind of puts them just that little bit over the top from the other drivers, is they can make those little tiny adjustments. I know a common one is for pit road entry. We mentioned the weight jacker. So the further forward you put the weight jacker, the looser the car will feel. The further back you put it, it actually kind of frees the car up. And so you'll see a lot of drivers, what they'll do is they'll move their weight jacker all the way to the back when it's time for pit stops to try to make sure that car doesn't get loose on them, because again, these cars are very, very sensitive to the change in banking. And so when you're going from the 20 plus degree banking to flat, it's a very, very difficult thing to do. So that's where these adjustments come into play. But again, we're not at that point yet. Pitted on lap 36 to 38. Talked about, again, about 40 or so laps. So windows should open. I'm going to say probably for these guys, the way some of them been saving, I'm going to say the earliest drivers will be pitting probably just before lap 80. And then I think there's going to be a lot of drivers, again, going for that magic number of probably about 84 to, again, try to get to that splitting the race in third by pitting at 42, 84, and then being able to make it to then that 125 mark. But right now, thought I heard a little bit of, nope, looks like everybody's good. But yeah, no, looks like everybody's just kind of cruise control. And here's one that I can't see it on the screen, but I would be almost willing to put money on Nick DeGroot is full fuel save in this number 89 car, because he likes to be up front and going after these races. But I think he's thinking big picture. He's thinking strategy here. also probably thinking I got to keep this car safe because it's gotten wild here a few times. And so I think Nick is going to be one of those drivers that probably pits some of the latest of anybody. But at the same time, though, if you're in a spot right now where, and actually I got to give a shout out here as well. We've been talking about Sheridan Wade all this time. I say it looks like a teammate here, and that is Nate Fields. Looks to be a sister car to that number 54. So you get the 54 and the 55. So I'll say Nate's had I wouldn't say a quieter race to full extent. I mean, he hasn't been up front leading yet, but Nate's also up 9 positions here, up into the top 10 at the moment. So a good quiet early run here for Nate, but I don't think that this driver has shown their full spec yet. And yeah, you can kind of see almost a reverse scheme from that 55 to the 54. So always love the originality that these drivers have, and just working with teammates like we saw the similarities. Edson Santos, you can see that number 20 paint scheme. And then you go just a little bit back to Rafael Eckert, and pretty much almost sister paint schemes for these two drivers as well. So love to see it. Love to see the teamwork. Mentioned Charles Teed and Eric Peterson similar as well in theirs. So yeah, so really cool to see. And unfortunately, I think Eric Schaus snuck out before I was able to grab him, so I won't be able to pull an interview with him. But I think he has now might be officially retired from this event. So again, not quite in that fuel window to make it here. So say we'll still have a little bit ways to go here. They've gone about 30, just under 30 laps since they last pitted. So again, talk about that fuel window being probably in the low 40s, but again, the way some of these drivers are racing, I think probably also able to go a little further as we just crossed the halfway point in this. So now down to 62 laps remaining, as it still continues to be Sheridan Wade leading the way. Seth Gruber, Jim Herrick, Gary Laverne, Dan Marrero right now showing as our top 5 drivers. Mentioned Christopher as well earlier, kind of still now got back to the inside line, just kind of hanging out here. I say trying to poke around. I say hopefully not any commentators' curses, but try to find some drivers we haven't chatted about tonight. And here's one, Alan Morera, and I think Alan has been one of the underrated long run drivers. When there's a lot of tire wear, Alan is, I believe, one of the best drivers I've seen in the series that's able to keep those tires underneath them and make really good long run pace. And I don't know if the tire wear is like it was at a track like Auto Club 2 weeks ago, but we've had a couple with some really tough, just tough tire wear, and he has excelled at those. So I'm curious to see how he does as the race goes on. And as for your push to pass question, not in the ovals, but yes, there is a push to pass that they do use at the road course races. However, with Area 51, we're primarily an oval league. I think they had one road course race this season, and in those races, yes, I believe they have 10 push to passes that they can use over the course of a race. And so yeah, it gives you a little bit of extra power, and you can use it on offense, you can use it on defense, however you want to use it. And so it's also fun to see the strategies at certain tracks, where you use it, when you use it, like maybe coming to a pit stop, coming out of a pit stop, and of course the closing laps of the race. You can definitely get aggressive with those. But I'm starting to see these drivers look a little less comfortable on the handling of these cars. You see Jim Herrick now, he's made his way to the point. And so we've got a bit of a 4D train now on the bottom. You see Jim Herrick there. We're looking at the back of his car. Right behind is Dan Morera. And then Christopher in that 13 also rolling the bottom side here. So right now these three have done a good job. They've been pretty comfortable running the bottom. And now that's moved Sheridan Wade to the top. And again, though, Sheridan's led a lot of laps in this one. So again, talk about fuel mileage, even now running the outside lane, but again, still in the clean air. So that means that car has not really probably been able to do much, if any, fuel saving. So at some point, I feel like that 54 is going to have to try to find their way down to the inside line here at some point to get ready for pit stops. So that's going to be the next thing to talk about, of course, like we mentioned, because we are now at lap number 70. So getting pretty close to that 40 lap window here again. When we get to about lap 76, that's going to be 40 on the dot. And again, I still do think that some of these drivers are going to get to a minimum, I would say, of lap 80, maybe even some trying to get to, like, let's say an 85 or so, just to be able to safely make it. And of course, also with the pace of these cars the way they are, there's a lot of times where if you're one of the first ones to pit, you're kind of sweating bullets until the rest of the field make their pit stop, because there's always that risk of a caution coming out and trapping you a lap down. But right now, with a lot of these cars working their way down to the bottom, it's starting to open up some of the outside lanes. And we mentioned Jim Brooks. He's been pretty much running the top side for the majority of this race. He's now the second car to the outside line. I'm also seeing Edson Santos finally. He's, I think, starting to work his way up. Craig Forsyth, you see working that third lane or that second lane now as well. So at some point here, I think a big squeeze there by Sheridan Wade. I think Sheridan wants to get to the bottom, and I think, contact Jim Brooks in the wall. Caution is going to come out. Multiple cars involved, and I don't know if that was maybe a situation where they felt like they had to pit or get to the bottom. We see Matt Wagner, heavy damage to his number 6 machine. Jim Brooks involved. Unfortunately, Seth Gruber as well. So caution is out at 53 to go. Seth's going to try to limp this thing back to the pit stall to get service done. But this happened at the absolute front of the field here. Let's go back. We'll take another look here, and we're going to focus initially, I believe, on that number 54 machine of Sheridan Wade, because to me that's where things kind of got a little dicey here. And it really seems to me like at some point they're trying to get to the bottom, but again, we'll kind of see here, because it seems like they start to slow fairly abruptly, and actually it looks like just a little bit of really bad net code, and unfortunately that's what actually puts Jim Brooks in the wall. There was a lot of room, but I'm looking in the back to look at Seth Gruber. I think Seth was slowing down to hit pit road. I think Sheridan Wade was maybe saying, I gotta pit, I gotta get to the bottom, and I think that's what we might have seen here. So, and Seth already showing some damage from this one too. Let me go back a little bit further, see the damage that Seth gets, where that comes from. Oh, it's right there at the very last bit here. And I think that is this. Oh, there's where Matt Wagner hits Jim. And then that's where, right there, Raphael Eckert gets a piece of it as well. So that's unfortunate where these 3 cars all get their damage from. Oh, man, Yari Brubacher just sneaks by, then has to do a little bit of off-roading through the grass and is just able to hang on to it. So we'll jump back live. Unfortunately, I'd say a lot of drivers caught up in that one. Everybody did hit pit road here under that caution. So we'll step away for a quick moment, and then we'll come back here in just a moment. So stay tuned.
4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, so as we're watching some cars hit pit road, we are 1 to go here. Jim Herrick's going to take over as our race leader. And then say again, some teammates behind Christopher, Dan Morera will be our top 3. And then from Eric Peterson on back from 13th, all of these drivers topping off here on the 1 to go. I can tell you that Jim Brooks able to get back on track, use a fast pair, stay in the lead lap. Same for Seth Gruber, and I believe the same for Matt Wagner as well. So all of those drivers able to stay on the lead lap and still be in contention. Charles Teed, I believe, got one of his laps back. So I believe Charles may now be sitting at 1 lap down. I'll wait for the timing of scoring to update. Wait for the ticker to go through. And yes, indeed, Charles Teed 1 lap down now. So he has a chance to get back in the thick of things. Needs another yellow, but has a good chance of it. So now this will be interesting. I'm going to watch this restart because, again, we talked about the leaders have control of the restarts. I don't know if I've had it where we've had 3 teammates up front on a restart. I'm very interested to see how organized these 3 are compared to 4th on back, because I could really see them all kind of just going all right together, and then 4th place being the one that's almost left holding the bill, if you will. So, and there they go. They get a good start. And, yeah, you can see the separation between those 3 and then the 4th place car of Sheridan Wade. Again, Sheridan's fine. He'll be able to get right back up to them in the draft, but I was very intrigued to see if they would kind of work together and say, hey, all right, ready, set, go, and then they drop the hammer. So now I do also wonder as well, maybe, I wouldn't say team orders, but maybe try to work with each other here a little bit, as I don't believe Christopher has led a lap yet here. So if Chris can stay just a nose ahead here at the line, he will. That gives a bonus point to Christopher. Get a lap led here in that number 13 machine. And you can see right away, look how quickly that 54 is right back on the scene here, right behind him. And again, now we restarted this thing with, I believe it was 50 to go on the dot. Can anybody go 50 laps on fuel? Eric Peterson was the first to the first to top off at the moment right now. He sits right now in the 13th position. But I wonder, can some of these drivers maybe back in this main pack who didn't top off, maybe they can also do the same and just be able to save here. So when I think fuel saving, I think this man right here, Craig Forsyth. But at the same time, excuse me, I'm having a hard time staying focused on him because this battle right here is really getting pretty aggressive here. Sheridan's really trying to work this 3rd lane here, but right now just doesn't have anywhere to take it. And honestly, I think, yeah, right now Christopher is going to have to kind of just play, I wouldn't say defense, but make sure he holds that seam that you see him kind of straddling right there, because if he drifts up too high, that's going to give Sheridan an opportunity to try to cut in between himself. Oh, saw Seth Gruber there just a moment there. I think some close racing with him and some of the other drivers. But I was saying, we talked about some of the drivers involved in that incident. Jim Brooks right back into the thick of things, working already back into the top 10, now down to the inside line. Also, he mentioned there's Seth Gruber, also in the top 10. And then the other car involved Matt Wagner. I think Matt's kind of doing, actually Matt's a little further back than I'd like him to be, but still in the draft, but not doing as well as I hoped there. So we'll have to keep an eye on Matt, see if he can get back into that draft, because he fell off a fair bit there. But yeah, right now though, if I'm Christopher, you gotta hold the second lane, but you gotta try to hold it not tight, but just enough to prevent that car from cutting into the middle, in between you and, at this point right now, Jim Herrick. So there's a little bit of strategy, a little bit of play that you have to do here. And I do think right now, I mean, I'm looking at the gap that Edson Santos has on that 3rd car on the inside. I think Edson might be doing a little bit of fuel saving as well in that number 20 machine. So we saw Jim, he pushed really hard. He got to the inside, and now he's kind of settled in as well. We see the gap between he and Craig Forsyth. I think there's definitely kind of a two-bird approach here, where some are saying, you know what, I'm just going to go full at it, hold my track position, see if I can, and then if we get a caution, I'll pit, get the fields in, or maybe that caution laps, maybe that'll be enough to get me to the end. Whereas some of these other guys say, hey, if we go green to the end, I want to save fuel now, and I want to make sure that way I can make it to the end if we don't get a yellow. So I think those are the two trains of thought we're seeing right now. And again, I mean, it's busy. Like I say, you can see just in the corner there's that number 13 car, and then you'll see some momentum shift here and there, and that's where the 54 starts right there. Look at how big the draft is there. as Christopher was just a nose ahead, gets a little bit ahead through the straightaway, and then the shorter distance kind of goes back and prevails. But oh man, I mean, and look at Seth. Seth is right back in the thick of things here, and kind of doing what he does on the super speedway side, trying to run that third lane if he can. But again, these cars, you don't draft like you do in the super speedway cars, and we haven't seen a lot of the swap draft, which I'll do another teaching moment here for you, Karen. So obviously in the super speedway racing with the trucks and the Xfinity cars, you lock bumpers, you push, and you go faster. You see what these cars look like. You try to push a car, you're gonna have a bad time basically. And so at the bigger tracks, a very popular way to kind of keep the pace up of the race is to do something called a swap draft, which basically means one car will basically, they almost kind of just slingshot off each other back and forth. As I say that, contact, couple cars or more cars involved, caution is out, huge wreck on the front stretch, and you can see multiple cars involved. Unfortunately, I think, oh man, we still got one flipping up and over. That, I believe, that's a Benson Hedges car. Oh my goodness, big hits for those guys. I think that is, you see, trying to see if Charles Teed's involved in that one or not. Oh my goodness, big hit there. Caution is back out. Brad Adams had to take a tow. And unfortunately, I think once again, this is, I think, a netcode situation here. I don't think there was any actual contact. We'll take a better look. I'm going to focus around, I believe, I mean, I know, unfortunately, Seth Gruber got a good piece of it, so unfortunately, but we'll watch right here. You see the separation. Oh, again, you saw they got close to each other, but there wasn't, you'll see once the 26 car reacts, how far apart they were. And that in iRacing is called netcode. And unfortunately, that's what causes this one. And you're going to see the 54, he actually just kind of does like a little ramp over the O2. And then from here, there's just nowhere for any of these guys to go. There was Brad Adams that we were talking about. He goes for a wild ride there. Oh, man, that's the 26 of Dan Morera. He also goes flipping up and over. I see Alan Morera there in the background, but Brad definitely. Oh, look at Nick DeGroot. Oh, Nick doesn't get through there either. He gets a little bit of nose damage as well. So, but oh man, the 76 car is just a pinball machine. Oh, and then at the very end, you see Eric Peterson, Nick DeGroot. They do make contact there at the end as well. So, and man, Brad Adams is going to be dizzy after this one because that is a lot of bouncing he's doing in that thing. So. Yeah, unfortunately, caution is back out. We'll jump back live here. I believe we have some more strategy, and that is Matt Wagner staying out here. Going to try, I think, get some of that track position back. It looks like Edson Santos on back. These drivers all hit pit road. Looks like some mixed strategy. Looks like fuel only for Edson, Craig, Jim Herrick taking tires, Christopher taking tires. I think Nick DeGroot probably a fast repair and fuel only. Looks like Jim Brooks taking some tires as well. So, yeah, unfortunately, big wreck there. A lot of drivers on pit road. A lot of them had to take a tow. I mentioned Sheridan Wade still sitting on pit road. Seth Gruber. Unfortunately, I think that's probably night done for Seth. Looks like Nate Fields as well sitting on pit road, and then Brad Adams as well. Again, with all of that flipping he was doing. So caution out for that. At this point now, fuel probably out of the question. I think Matt Wagner probably was saving fuel as well in that 6 car, so I think he's probably feeling pretty confident to the end. There are no green-white checkers here, so lap 125 is the final lap of the race. Doesn't matter if it's under green or yellow. I can tell you the 54 just now rolled out of pit road, so I believe that'll put Sheridan, I think, hopefully just the 1 lap down. Waiting to, again, wait for that timing and scoring to update here on the left. And I also got to check to see. Looking for Charles T. Yeah, so Sheridan Wade is 1 lap down. I'm trying to also double check for Charles Teed, Yari Brupacher. I think Charles Teed is now back on the lead lap in that number 50 machine. So great break for him. And Yari Brupacher also on the lead lap as well in that. So I think Alan Morera right now, the first car 1 down in the 21. And then you have Sheridan Wade there, the second. So once more we'll take a quick break here because again things are happening quick. So I gotta catch my breath and we'll get back after here. And again, a big thank you to our sponsor 40 Racewear. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, we are 1 to green, but you know what we're gonna do? So we have a dedicated viewer. So we're gonna unfortunately pull a driver up for an interview because I believe it's probably night done for you, Mr. Seth. But I mean, how's it been tonight? You been having fun?
That was an experience for sure. My God, I was told that it wasn't not all the tracks are quite like this. So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. I was just trying to stay up front, and I don't know if it was net code on that or
It looks.
whatever.
We've had a couple looks like netcode incidents. So yeah. So it's been a little. I think these cars again. You're obviously used to the super speedway cars where it's like you're still going 180, 190, but it seems like maybe the 220 plus in these things maybe that makes a little bit of an extra difference, or of course the open wheel concept of it. So
I was getting taken on the outside there, so I was trying to run in the tight middle, and we just net coded, I think. I'm out of fast pairs.
It's unfortunate, but it was fun having you. I hope to have you the rest of the way as well. As we're about to get back to green, I know you're hanging out with Matt Wagner, so I'm guessing rooting him on his look on the outside line. Nick DeGroot. Man, I don't know. If he timed that thing, that was timed to perfection because he is already up into 4th position there in that restart.
Yeah, Nick's a great racer.
He's quick on these ones. So if you want to hang out, by all means, I'd say love to have you. So I'm sure Mom's probably by us. She's like, all right, let's see if my kid's got the announcer gene in him here. But
I think you guys are all right without me. So
all right, well, I'll get you back over to Matt. But
we got a race here.
Oh man, they're getting diced. Oh, right there. I think there's a little bit of we talked about that net code. I think Christopher there and the 20 car possibly a little bit and. Yeah, things are getting a little too crazy here, and so far everybody's pointing in the right direction, but you might be safer up here right now.
Yeah, I'm safe. I'm safe in the pits, but hey, we'll catch you later, and we'll catch you next week.
All right, man. Good luck, Seth. Appreciate you hopping in here.
Yep, thanks, God.
All right, so I hope you're still around, Mom, but grab Seth for a little bit, but oh my goodness, it's getting wild here. Again, we still got 30 laps to go at the line here, and these guys are racing like it's not 30 to go. They're racing like it's 3 to go, as right now Matt Wagner's holding that inside line still. Again, he's got the oldest tires of the field here, stayed out for track position, but man, there's been some big moves being made here, and right now you see Jim Brooks, he's up on the outside line. That's where he's been the happiest. And now Christopher starting to work that middle there, and I think Jim is right behind. Yeah, that's Edson Santos. He's following. I mean, here we go. We're back to pretty much 2x2, almost plate pack racing, if you will. And oh man, if I'm in this pack here, like Charles T just getting his lap back, I might cruise here for a little bit. Just find a safe pocket to maybe be ready to have some wreck avoidance because that's been pretty wild what they've been doing. So right now, Matt continues to lead the way in that 6. And again, at this point with under 30 to go, Matt's going to try to play kind of bottom feeder here. He's going to try to hold that inside line as best he can. Again, turn 1, turn 2 is very bumpy. As I said, he's got 2 cars up into the wall. I think that is Yari. No, it's not Yari Brewpark. Apologies. Gary Laverne is one of them. And then trying to catch the other there. It may have been... I haven't found the name yet. That's William Swenson. So Gary Laverne is for sure one. Not Alan Morera. It is Sheridan White. I'm sorry, is the other. The 54 and 32 on pit road. but they stayed pointing in the right direction. We stay green, but not anymore. Big wreck down the backstretch. That is going to bring the caution back out. That is Raphael Eckert going up and over behind him. I think that was Jim Herrick and Michael Carrillo. Great job on the brakes there, William Swenson. That car comes to a complete stop to avoid that one. We've got a number of cars taking toes here. Some trying to limp their way back onto pit road. I just mentioned we stayed green. Definitely weren't staying green on that one. Oh my goodness. Let's go back, see how this all occurred. And once again, let's go here. We'll get right there, almost contact entering turn number 1 and 2, and then right here, you can see where the contact's about to occur. You see the 40, the 29, and the 064, and there's I think a little bit of a bump pushes him up into the 64. That pushes him back down into the 29, and this is gonna be an angle here because oh my goodness, the 64, all these guys going up and over. That's a tough one. And I think one of these guys then does a just massive bounce. And let's say we'll look out the other way because there's still other cars down here. And yeah, there's that bounce. It's Michael Carrillo's higher than the catch fence there. These cars kind of pogoing a little bit, I have to admit. I don't think they'll be bouncing like this in real life. Then watch right here. Watch that number 69 car, William Swenson, thinks he's got it all missed, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a car here. I got to come to a stop, and is luckily able to get that thing woed down, grab reverse, and then get rolling back out. So we'll jump back live here once more, and we're kind of at the attrition point now on this one. And double check. Oh, I think Charles Teed was involved in this. I'm going to go back because I think there's some more cars involved that I may not have caught here. So let me go a little further back. So I'm going to focus on some of those guys, unfortunately, like a Charles Teed, for instance, here. So I think there was more that happened in the back after this all occurred. And so right here is where it kicks off. And then we're going to kind of just watch some of these drivers further back. You see Charles Teed, he's going to cut it sharp to the left. There's some more contact. Both those cars trying to go for the same real estate to avoid the wreck. And Charles T just nowhere to go. You see, Alan Morera as well. He gets into it as well. I saw the 55 car. Oh, yeah, there he goes up and over. And who is that sneaking by there on the inside? That blue car, I believe that could be Bill. It is Bill Cawley. Great avoidance for him. We already talked about William Swenson. This is what he sees here and just throws the brakes on, grabs reverse real quick, and then gets back going on his way and able to sneak around there. So, yeah. The championship implications, yeah, I honestly think that may be accurate because I'm looking for a Nick DeGroot in the 89 car. Actually, on the championship implications side of things, second and third in points are actually running 6th and 7th as they run, so they're doing okay. But man, we're attrition time now, though. I mean, we've got 9 cars in lead lap, 10th on back, either a lap down or out of this race. Gary Laverne, we saw him with that earlier incident that he was able to avoid, that he was involved in, but had to go to pit road. It put him down a lap, but then that caution kind of, I think, honestly gave him a little bit of a break because now he's right back into it as well. So what's going to happen here is I think we're going to restart this thing just outside of 20 to go. I think it'll be 22 to go. Again, Matt Wagner last pitted in lap 79. Edson Santos, Craig Forsyth, Jim Brooks at 89. Bill Cawley, 91. And then Chris Stouffer, Nick DeGroot, Yari Brupacher all just pitted here at lap 100. So these 3 drivers have the freshest tires right here, 6th, 7th, 8th. Matt Wagner has the oldest in the lead, and then right in the middle, and it's about a 10-15 lap spread on all these guys. You got 75 to 90, then you got 90 or 89, I should say, and then 89 to 100. So Matt Wagner's got 25 lap roughly older tires than 6th on back, but again, there's been some cautions after all this. So, but yeah, I think you look at the ticker on the left there, you see all those drivers pit. Some are out. it's been an attrition race here tonight, unfortunately. And honestly, I'm not sure who, if anybody, still has a fast repair in their pocket either. We know Matt Wagner had to use one earlier with his involvement in the incident. We know Jim Brooks had to use one earlier as well. I'm not certain for Edson Santos in the 20 car, but this might be one of those races where it's just who's got what. But we're about to go back to racing here. We're going to switch things over. We're going to watch from our starter. We're going to see those cars just about to pop into frame. You saw the green flag pop up. He is ready to wave it. And we're going to restart this thing with 22 laps to go. I think there's about 10 cars still left on track. This field has dwindled. And this is a very odd restart here. And we're back underway. But again, a little bit of, I'm not going to say gamesmanship, but I think a little bit of strategy there, as we've gotten, again, really spread out there. Nick DeGroot was ready to roll. But right now, Matt Wagner continues to lead the way. Now everybody's going to try to build that momentum up. And then it's going to be, who wants to run where? You see Jim immediately straight to the top. That's going to let Christopher snag that inside line. Already Edson Santos jumping to the outside as well. So we're not done. Craig Forsythe, he's going to the third lane there. He's going to try to get that 99 now back to the front. And I haven't even mentioned, I totally forgot, as crazy as this race has been, I'll say, is his birthday today. So he's going to definitely try to get a birthday interview here. Ideally for him, a birthday win. But right now, like I said, these guys all just trying to find the clean air and try to put their car in the best spot to win this race. But like I said, right now, Matt's going to try to, I think, just be a bottom feeder here. Hold that white line, see if he can keep everybody to his outside and behind him, and just see what everybody else can do. And a few of these other drivers, though, they got to be careful. We've seen there's been some fairly significant net code, unfortunately, tonight. So I think you can only squeeze the driver so far before it's that risk versus reward. And right there, you saw Matt. He drifts out the bottom, had to be quick to get back down there, because Christopher was ready to pounce on that. We'll hop on board with Matt Wagner. You see Edson Santos to his outside, and that car is starting to drift off the bottom a little bit more than the others. And again, I think that's the tire wear. As you see Yari Brupacher, he's going to run the third lane in the 49. Jim Brooks all over the rear wing of Edson Santos. And Matt's, I don't think, almost contact Craig and Jim there. These guys are hanging on for dear life, and we still got to do this for 18 more laps. There's the contact. Huge hit once more here. Caution back out. Matt Wagner, you can hear him throw the clutch in there. Out in the background, there is Edson Santos somewhere back there. Yari Brupacher. Oh, my goodness. Who else is that in the back there? Christopher. That is a championship implications situation, and that car is missing everything. Rear wing, front wing, right front tire. Oh, my goodness. And again, I think it was just an unfortunate net code situation here with these guys. I think just a little bit. They were tight on each other. Don't get me wrong, and I think this is coming to turn 4. So I think we got to go a little further here. So we'll pick up the pace, and we'll take a look here as we go through 1 and 2. But again, these guys are right there. You see the 51.99 almost make contact. And then this is where the contact is going to occur. So we'll slow it right back down here. You see the 9, he does drift up a little bit. Oh, that's the wrong angle. But I really don't know if there was actual contact here or not. Again, I think, unfortunately, just a little bit of net code. Well, this will be a better angle. And I don't think they actually touch. They're very close. And here they do. And you see there's the 99. He gets a bit of a hop. And then we talked about net code. Something's being good, something's being bad. Huge break for Jim Brooks because he's in it. Look at Nick DeGroot as well. I think they're just... and then a little bit of contact for... I think that was... that was Gary Laverne also getting a piece of it. So unfortunately, more drivers caught up in this one. Edson's back here. He's going up and over. We're talking about those pogos that these cars become at times. Yari Brupacher also caught up in this one once more. So we talked about there being 10 cars on track. We might be chopping that number down to about 5 now, as Edson's trying to get that thing into pit road to get service. But same thing. That car's also just missing everything, it seems like. We'll jump back up to our leaders here. And Yeah, here's the cars that are on track. There's one. I apologize. There's one more coming back. Sheridan Wade's making his way back up in here. But yeah, we've got Matt Wagner, Jim Brooks, Craig Forsyth, Bill Colley's now up into the top 5. Nick DeGroot, and then William Swenson. Yari Brupacher, I think, took a fast repair. He's back into it. And then Sheridan Wade. So we have 8 cars still remaining on track after all of this is going on. We're going to restart this thing just outside of 10 to go. So I'm going to, again, catch my breath here for a moment as this has been a wild one. So we'll be right back, and we'll be back here for the restart.
4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
All right, we're going to come back a tiny bit early here. We should get the one to go this time. We still have 7 cars on the lead lap. I think we've had a few cars make their way back out on track. Gary Laverne is back out here. He is 1 lap down still. Unfortunately, with that tow, Christopher now back to 2 laps down. However, again, with all the chaos, still in the top 10. Sheridan Wade still on track as well in that 54, also multiple laps down. I think maybe, 8 laps down looks like, but I think should have a chance to get around Edson Santos for a position if Edson's car can't continue on. But I think from 12th on back, that's night over for these guys. So again, we had 22 cars start this race. I think we're down to, again, I think 10 on track at the moment. And so we're back to it. So again, Matt Wagner last pitted lap 75, Jim Brooks and Craig Forsyth 89. Bill Colley at lap 91. Nick DeGroot, William Swenson pitted at lap 100. And then Yari Brupacher just last time on the CL pitted at lap 109. So again, clean airs, I think definitely showing it's definitely clean is king tonight. But I don't know. Tires did seem to play a role in this one. So now it's also going to be kind of pit strategy and things of that nature here. Or not pit strategy. The strategy of where do you make your move? When do you make your move? And just the risk versus reward. I mean, right now, that second lane's been just very dangerous to be in. So if you're Jim Brooks, I mean, you want to get a win. I mean, you know, Matt, of course, he's got control of this thing. He of course wants to win this race, but yeah, this is going to be interesting here to see kind of who takes what gambles. Nick DeGroot, I think he's got to think big picture potentially here, not take too many risks here. But watch him on this restart. He has been just so quick on the draw. Oh, a little hiccup for Jim. Nick's going to roll bottom, can't pass for start finish line. He stays just behind, though, Bill Colley, and he's going to try to grab that 4th spot entering turn number 1. But it's going to be Matt Wagner, again, leading the way here with 13 to go ahead of Jim Brooks, Craig Forsyth. Now Nick DeGroot, Bill Colley in 5th. And then Yari Brupacher, William Swenson, the last cars on the lead lap. But immediately Craig Forsyth goes straight to the top here. And that's going to kind of pin Jim Brooks, I think, down to the bottom at the moment. So we'll see what this does for Jim. Is he going to look for an opportunity for maybe Matt if he can slip off the bottom? Is Jim going to try to jump underneath him? Or is he just going to maybe try to, right now, you can see he gets a big run here off of 2. Is he going to go to the top? Nothing yet. No, stays committed to the inside here. Going to stay behind Matt Wagner. And that's brought Yari Brupacher right back into the mix as well. And there's Nick DeGroot we talked about too, pitting at lap 100. It's anybody's guess right now. Anybody in this top 7 can win this race. And if we get another yellow, throw the top 8 because Gary Laverne has a good chance still to be in this one too. So again, at some point, someone's going to make a move. Like I said, there's Craig. He's going to go back to the top here. But Matt's done a good job. He's been able to keep that bottom pretty comfortable here. But again, any little slip up, and that's going to be an opportunity for someone to try to pounce as we're down to 10 to go. And again, there are no green-white checkers, so if we get a late caution here, oh, just saw Bill Colley catch the apron, saves that car. Great job by Bill here. Will cost maybe a couple spots, but he should be all right. And here comes Nick DeGroot. He's trying to work that third lane in the 89 car. See if he can get some results back here and try to gain some points again, because he's got to think about that big picture with Bruno not being here tonight. So, and if I remember correctly, I have heard these drivers say that coming to the checkered white flag, you can go below the apron as long as you don't cause an incident. So maybe it's something where Jim Brooks is like, hey, I'm just going to wait, and then see if I can cut underneath Matt and make that dive to the finish line here. You never know. And then again for Craig, it's that gamble. How tight do you push Matt Wagner? Do you keep him pinned? Do you worry about the net code that we've seen tonight? I mean, it's, again, you want to win. So you really want to win on your birthday. But it's those gambles that if you're willing to take them. And you're at the risk of that car to your inside if they hold their line well or not. If they drift up a little bit, there's a good chance they'll get hooked together, and that could pull both these cars out of the top two positions. So, and they are squeezing each other. This is definitely, they're holding each other as tight as they can. This time by, we are at 6 laps to go. Still Matt Wagner just a nose cone ahead of Craig Forsyth. Nick DeGroot still staying committed to that third lane. Yari Brubacher's trying to find where he can put that number 49 machine. I apologize. And oh man, these guys are all just kind of diving around. You see now Nick way up to the top. Yari's going to sneak underneath him here. Again, Yari does have the freshest tires. We're 5 to go. Almost 4 wide there for a split second. 3 wide though with Yari. And you can see Jim is just peeking to that inside here, just getting any clean air he can to keep that car rotating. But again, right now, Matt's just got to play as hard. Right now, Craig is just a nose ahead as they enter turn number 3. But again, short distance should prevail through the turn. And again, it's going to be kind of who can hold. For Matt, it's going to be if he can hold that bottom line well enough. And for Craig, it's going to be how much he's willing to pinch Matt and give him a chance. As, man, after what we've seen tonight, I'm so nervous with these guys staying as tight as they are through the turns and then coming in out of the turns. And again, there are no green-white checkers here, so I think about at this point, if a caution comes out, this will be the race. So that's where, again, you got to take, do you take the risk? Do you go for it? Do you wait? There's just so much at play in these things. So again, it's a big strategy here to make how aggressive do you want to be, that risk versus reward. And right now, like I said, Matt's doing exactly what he has to do. He has to hold that bottom, make sure he doesn't let anybody else cut underneath him. Craig's got to decide, as we're 2 to go now, Craig's got to decide, how tight do I risk pinching Matt? Because again, we've seen it already happen. These guys, they had some room, but they still somehow make contact. And sometimes netcode works in your favor. Sometimes it hurts you. And we saw a few cars get through a wreck that it looked like they were involved in, and that's because netcode was in their favor that time. So that said, though, it looks like we will get to that white flag. So this is the final lap. We will make it to the finish under green flag racing. Will it be Matt Wagner, Craig Forsyth, Yari Brubacher, who are running the first 3 spots up top? Or could Jim Brooks find a way to sneak through here at the very, very end? He's peeking, nowhere to go. Look at Nick DeGroot trying to find anywhere to put that car. We'll see here as we come through 3 and 4 for the final time. Craig, a little bit of contact. Oh, there's that netcode we just talked about. Oh, Jim Brooks, huge hit to the outside wall. Multiple cars involved. Matt Wagner going to get the win. Nick DeGroot going to come home second. Bill Colley's going to bring it home in third. And once again, just that netcode, I'm telling you, it's just been a menace tonight. So let's go back here. We'll watch that contact here as they were coming to the checkered. And I say we'll focus on Craig here, because again, I don't think there was any actual contact as they come through the turn here. You see Matt and Craig, almost a little bit of contact. Craig has to drift up there, possibly from that contact. And then watch here as they come through 3 and 4. And they hadn't even got close to each other yet, and then right here, oh my goodness, just launches the 51 there to the outside wall. Huge hit for him. And then you see Craig as well, and again, oh, as you see it sliding. Oh, look at Christopher just sneaks through that one as well to avoid the contact with Craig. But then coming to the line though, Matt Wagner is going to get the win over Nick DeGroot. But Bill Colley, he's going to bring it home third there. Gary Brubacher, without a front tire there, he's going to just bring this thing home in fifth. Fourth, I'm sorry, William Swenson fifth. And then Craig's going to say, this is one of those one. This has been the race tonight. Watch Craig here. He's just going to try to limp this thing back to the finish line, and he's going to bring it home in sixth ahead of Jim there. And there's Jim trying to get his car looped back around and wind up in that sixth position. But, man, this yeah, and you see Jim just, that car just does not want to drive there. But Matt Wagner going to get the win here tonight. He says he's going to probably pull up on that car trying to find its way to even get to the finish here. And, yeah, there he goes. You can see Jim. He does wind up getting across line there at the end, but this is our race winner here, and while we show him, we'll go ahead and show off our final results as he celebrates. And this is going to be Matt Wagner getting the win over Nick DeGroot, Bill Colley, Jari Brubacher, William Swenson, and then, like you saw, unfortunately, those two at the very end, the contact with Craig Forsyth, Jim Brooks. And then trapped a lap down, unfortunately, from earlier was Gary Laverne. That later yellow as well. Christopher 2 down. Sheridan Wade brings home still a top 10 after all that. And then attrition, that's the name of the game tonight. Edson Santos, Jim Herrick, Dan Morera, Eric Peterson, Michael Carrillo, Rafael Eckert, Charles Teed, Alan Morera. I mean, you see these guys 18, 25, 28 laps down. That's just how crazy tonight was. And then unfortunately we mentioned then Nate Fields, Seth Groover, Brad Adams, and I think Eric Schuss is the only one that was maybe retired due to a non-incident. I think he just had to do some dad stuff. So yeah, a wild one here to put it lightly tonight. So let's go chat with some drivers. We're going to kick it off with our third place finisher. I got to hunt him on down. And that is going to be a Mr. Bill Colley. And let's see, is Bill in here yet? I don't see a Bill. Oh, there's Bill. He's got his microphone muted, so hopefully we can pull him on in. So let's grab that number 31 machine, Bill Colley. Bill, I think that to say this race was crazy is a bit of an understatement. So I'll keep an eye as well as I see your mic still muted for the moment. But I'll say hopefully we'll be able to get you on here. But I'll say, oh, wait a second. Oh, he just disappeared. Let's let him work on his. Oh, he's back up there with Matt. So let's let them do their thing. Let me actually pull up. We're going to pull up our runner up here, Nick DeGroot, because Nick's always a fun interview, and you've had some wild races. You've had some wild finishes for wins, for podiums. Where does tonight rank in that? Because this has been, I think this is the most flipping I've seen any cars do in a Area 51 race that I've ever seen.
I'll tell you, I had at least 2 or 3 cars land on top of me. So I expected it to be crazy. I'm not sure I expected it to be that crazy. It was nuts. I was white knuckle from the first lap to the last lap. Heck, I was saving fuel for half the race and I was still white knuckle.
Yeah, white knuckle is a good description. And then honestly, that move you were making oh my goodness, I'm just watching the replay right there. The move you were making there to get to the outside, you had that huge run, you jumped to the outside of Craig just in the nick of time, because that's also the thing is the net code, I think, was the other story tonight, because there was a lot of incidents that didn't look like there was car-to-car contact, but then somebody would go flying, or there'd be ones where it looked like drivers would just literally drive through a car and come through unscathed. I mean, is that kind of what you noticed as well? Was it was too, like, just not good enough to be able to feel confident about knowing where who was going to be there? I mean, because it seemed like there was no rhyme or reason if there was contact or not.
Yeah, my whole thing about that race going into it, I wanted to be the leader, but I also didn't want to be the leader because, as you saw there, I'm not sure who it was, but when you are leading all those laps, you're going to be the first one who has to pit. And either that's going to put you behind because somebody else is going to make a mistake and it's going to cause a caution with how treacherous the pit entry is, or you're going to be the one getting wrecked trying to pit from the lead. So I wanted it, but I didn't want it. So my whole thing was, I'm going to lead a few laps here, then I'm going to go in the back, save some fuel, take no tires whenever I can, because it doesn't matter if you get the lead if you don't have tires, and see how it works out. With the cautions, they just kept falling at the worst time for me. But I'll tell you what, I thought I had it in that one caution, the one where I got spun, because I had saved almost enough fuel, knew the cautions would get me there, and I was going to stay out. I was going to do what Matt did, but just got clipped there right at the end by Eric Peterson, who was out of control, not his fault. But that's how these races go. There's so much luck involved. You can only put the car so many different places, and then the rest was just up to fate. I'll tell you at the end there, I'm not really sure what happened. I know I took the white flag in sixth. I'm going on the back, and I'm like, if he goes high, I'm going middle. If he goes low, I'm going high. I'm just going to go wherever there's not cars and see what happens.
Yeah, and that was the move to survive this race, truthfully, because like I said, it was crazy tonight, to put it bluntly. And obviously, let's say, with all the craziness that had been going on as well, with like we had that build week race where some drivers weren't able to attend, and kind of changed the 1 drop week to 2 drop weeks. Bruno missing tonight, so I think that will be, I want to say, I think that would be his 2 drops, if I'm not mistaken. So I just did the points right now, and so it looks like now you bring that gap down to 24 points for him, coming into those final 3 races here at Texas, followed by New Hampshire and Indianapolis for the finale. Do you look at that? Like, was tonight one of those ones where you saw Christopher get caught? It's like, okay, let me just make it to the end. Or, I mean, it seemed like you were still kind of doing the Nick DeGroot, like, just I'm racing and it's going to fall where it's going to fall.
Yeah, I mean, you have to weigh the risk versus reward. So you'll notice I spent a lot of that race on the bottom, because if you're on the top, there's nowhere to go when the wreck starts. At least on the bottom, you have a fighting chance of getting through it, which is just always the case with any kind of pack racing, whether it's IndyCar or NASCAR. So that was kind of what I was doing. I'm like, I want to be near the front, but I'm not going to go up there. I'm not going to ride on the top. If I'm going up top, it's to make moves, because that's a very dangerous place to be. You saw Craig there. He's on the outside of the last lap, and he got wrecked. So, and I was very nearly in it as well. So there is a risk versus reward, even when you're going for it. Even when I'm sending that 3-wide move down the backstretch, you're still calculating, okay, let's not throw away a podium result here. Is this a smart move? You don't want to just shove it in there and potentially cause a huge wreck, like some people do. They just take the run and they don't think, well, I'm not going to lift. I'm going to just throw this in here and they'll move for me. You got to still be calculated, even with this hectic 3-4 wide racing we got.
Yeah, no, and it seems like these are the craziest ones with these 1.5-mile tracks for sure. So, but yeah,
but I love them.
Oh, it's fun, but it's terrifying. I mean, I was just watching, and I mean, I was catching my breath that time. So, but no, I mean, a hell of a job tonight, like I said, to bounce back and avoid some of the other carnage and just survive to be there at the end, like I said, because I mean, I think there were 7 cars at the lead lap at the end tonight. So, just really, really good job to be in contention in the first place, to keep that car clean until the end. So definitely want to give you the floor for that runner up tonight.
Yeah, well, first of all, congrats to Matt for the win. He thought he was down and out, and he ended up being in the perfect position. And congrats to Bill Colley and getting a podium. He did a really good job surviving that thing. But most of all, got to thank my team, Factory Back Motorsports, as always, and all of our incredible sponsors. We got Canvas Shoes, who are always over there pumping out fantastic custom painted shoes and sneakers out of Western Canada. CoveyMoore.com, also out of Western Canada. Motorsport.com. By and large, we got a lot of new sponsors too. This team's always expanding, so it's always exciting to put on a good show for the new people backing us.
Yeah, so that's definitely gonna say, if you want to get interviews, I'll say that's definitely the car to go with. I feel like a lot of times. So I say great job. Like I said, great job. Like I said, it was something tonight to try to just be in contention at the end. And like I say, you made the right moves, and say there was definitely some breaks that I think maybe kind of helped your cause a little bit, even with the untimely yellows. So just great job sticking it out tonight, man.
Thanks. Wish we had one spot more, but we'll take it.
I think Matt would be really mad at you if you did.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, good job. All right. Well, we got to go up now to our race winner. We're still working on Bill. He's trying to get his microphone all squared away. So we'll grab him in just a moment. But We're going to switch things over now to our race winner. And that is this fella right here that's holding that white line for all he was worth, despite everybody else's best efforts to kind of chase him off of it. Matt, I know this is a tough one for you to balance because I know you always want to win these ones, and it's getting ever and ever harder to win these races. But then as an admin, it's a tough balance because this was, I mean, it wasn't a driver issue. I don't think it seemed like it was a net code situation for a lot of these ones tonight. But
Yes.
I mean, how crazy was tonight? Because you were the one that did the best on the incident points with just the 4, which I think was where when you just had nowhere to go and you got into, I think it was with the 51 car at one point. And you were, well, actually, I lie. You and Jim Herrick had the least incident points, it looks like, other than Eric, who retired early. But I mean, take us through it because you got pole, you led a lot of laps early, then you kind of fell back, which I'm guessing is fuel strategy. And then you unfortunately get caught up in that incident, and then you make the gamble to stay out and work the field numbers, which obviously winds up being the winning move. But I mean, it was definitely not a straight out race pole to win. It was hectic tonight.
Yeah, so dropped the green flag. I decided to run a couple laps, up front, and then I tried to make my way toward the back. I was working with Seth Gruber. I was helping him try to get uh affiliated with the car, to understand the car, how to drive the car and all the buttons and the weight jacker uh and then he decided to go full bore and he was running up front for quite a while, which I was actually impressed. Seth, good job. If your mom's listening, your son did an excellent job. It was just bad luck. So other than that, I stayed out of trouble. I tried to stay out of trouble. Unfortunately, I had nowhere to go. I got into Chinbrook, so I had another plan. Stay out back. Hopefully a yellow comes out. Let's. I was gonna play. Then everybody decided to come on pay road except for me. And
That's always that's always a sinking feeling at times.
it was. So it was very nerve-wracking racing with Craig up the front, and I would barely cross the line with like 0.2 gallons left. So I went pretty much 50 laps on a tank of fuel.
Yeah, I mean, if you were that close, that's a lot of, yeah. That's very close, even with the yellows, you're right. So
Yes,
it just worked.
Yeah, so like I said, shout out to these guys. I don't win too often. I don't. And me as an admin, I more care about everybody else here in this league. I want their moment of sun. Them to get interviewed by Gael Brooks. You know what I mean. And it's just the little things just makes me happy. But the win tonight, it feels a little bit better, because all the bad luck I've been having, the race Monday night, the race Sunday night over the Dark Horse Series, it eases the pain. It really does.
Yeah, no, I'd say definitely. I'd say it's one of those things where it's yeah, and the thing is, like, you talk about the bad luck you've had in a lot of these races. It's like I think everybody had a lot of bad luck times. Like, you had that one moment, but then you, like I said, just some of the bad luck turned into good luck on strategy and all that. So no, it was, like I said, it was good. I'd say you definitely had Seth rooting for you there at the end. I saw him chiming in, and yeah, mom was there learning and rooting Seth on as well. So that was it was really cool to see. And yeah, it was wild tonight. But I say unfortunately I think Bill's still working on his microphone, but worst case we'll get a chat with him next week if we have to.
I want to get him interviewed.
We'll get him. Let's say worst case we'll get him next week. But I say I'm gonna make you start singing to Craig here in a moment. But first, before we do that though, gotta give you the floor here for any thanks and shouts for the win here tonight, sir.
Well, I would like to thank everybody in the league. I know tonight was a little a little bit hectic, but it's mostly the netcode. But unfortunately, that's nothing you can't help with all these guys and with the what countries they're from. You're not sure if their connection is right. Could have having computer problems, but I love you guys. I love everybody here. It's just so fantastic. So I'd like to thank TWR. I love them boys back at TWR setups. Awesome guys. Shout out to you, Gael. I'm usually your partner on Sundays, but today it's a better day for me. Get a win here tonight, and it feels good for once.
Yeah, no, it's fun to get those in. So I know the person you love the most of anybody though is this man
God,
right
you brought
here.
him in here, really?
And that's our birthday boy here, Mr. Craig Forsyth, who was in a good spot there, Craig. I say, but I figure we'll give you a hard time since it's your birthday, and I don't know if you got your bourbon or not yet. And I have to ask you, say, because I do, and say we're going to get Bill. Like I said, if we can't get him tonight, we'll get him next week for sure. But you were the one that was going for the win as well, trying to work Matt on the outside. What was your risk versus reward there, trying to, because you got to pinch him down a little bit to help your chances, but knowing the net code that you were seeing tonight, how tentative were you to even give that outside a try?
I made the one attempt on the restart, and after that, I was riding on the outside, waiting for Matt to hopefully run out of fuel. I didn't think he would. I didn't think he would. I was like three cautions was probably enough. I had my little post-it note with all the fuel numbers, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure he can make it, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, netcode decided to end that race. It was unfortunate because Jim and I weren't anywhere near each other, and it decided to kill both of us. So that's an unfortunate way to go out, but it threw Bill onto the podium, so that's cool.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of netcode murder, unfortunately, tonight. That one at the end, I mean, and there was definitely also a few, one of those, the netcode giveth and taketh away, because as I said, watching, you guys were super tight there through 3, 4, maybe even just a slight touch, but then, yeah, like I said, the gap between you and Jim, like, you start spinning and there's still feet between you guys. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. I say hopefully you guys weren't holding onto your wheels too hard, because I'm guessing that definitely threw those around a fair bit. But yeah, definitely though, say unfortunately not the finish you wanted, but like I said, you grabbed a gear and got back to that 6th spot. But yeah, definitely wanted to formally and embarrassingly wish you a happy birthday though. Like I said, you were trying to go for that podium or for that birthday win though for sure tonight.
Totally was, and
I
keep saying I'm getting old, and I guess officially I've gotten even older.
Yeah, that's what happens. It doesn't seem to ever go away. So, but yeah, so definitely, like I said, great job though for you tonight as well. Like I said, just yeah, netcode, the name of the game tonight was definitely the story. So
yeah, I went back through a bunch of the incidents just quickly, and there was so much netcode tonight, and it's unfortunate when a night of netcode coincides with a pack race. I mean, when we have the good nights where it's everyone's got good connections, the pack racing is just glorious, but. It was pretty extreme tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I won't hold you too much longer. I'm gonna let you go celebrate or drown your sorrows or a combo of both, whatever you want it to be. But yeah, definitely wanted to wish you happy birthday, man, and look forward to seeing you next week though.
Thanks, Kyle. You guys have a good night.
All right, Matt. So say we gave you your floor too, so I'm going to let you go back to being an admin and enjoying yourself. But again, congrats, man, on the win. Like I said, you had Seth rooting for you, and I say it's definitely one of those good weights to get off your shoulder, man. So go enjoy this one.
All right, thanks, Gael.
All right, so that was our race winner, and then our birthday boy, Craig Forsyth. Like I mentioned, haven't been able to pull the interview, but we will get this man interviewed tonight or maybe not tonight, but we will get this man interviewed because he's still working on trying to get that microphone working. But big shout out to Bill Colley there, getting that the podium here, I should say, tonight. Also getting 19 positions to bring it home in 3rd. And like I said, he was around. He kept that car in a good spot, kept it safe, and that was the way to go tonight. Was aggression may have not been the best one, and there's times where I've seen Bill where he's in contention at the end, and unfortunately he's had some circumstances take him out of some of those. So really good to see him take advantage of a good break for once, kind of like Matt was talking about. So big shout out to Bill as well for that podium here tonight. Well deserved, well earned. And like I said, we'll definitely get an interview with him as well here in the near future. So, and yeah, want to thank you all as always for watching, supporting us here at Green White Checker TV. Again, we'll be back in 2 nights' time on Thursday night for the season opener of the Xfinity Series for the playoffs there at Atlanta Motor Speedway for 90 laps, and we'll crown a champion after those 4 races. So, thank you all again so much for watching. For those that were racing, hope you guys are doing okay. Hopefully all the risks and everything are in one piece, and look forward to seeing you all next week. So until then, take care, stay safe, have a good night.